My nail tech knows how to keep a little secret. I don't wish for my success, I speak it. I caught a buzz and you did too, but you tweaking. I look like I've been getting money, how reeking. You smell me, that's LV. Walk around with my chest out of my skin. What's up, guys?
So I want to give a recap of today's markup that we had that actually just went crazy, in my opinion. It was an amazing markup. It did exactly what we wanted it to do. So this is what took place this morning on Trading Nut. You can see right here.
On the 5 minute, really wanting a break here and go back up and test this area, this 30,800 to this next swing high, 30,832.
So at 30,832 is a very important zone, and I'm going to show you why. 30,832 right there. And look, you'll notice that we went and tapped it right here, went back down to retest the trend line, and then shot right back up to this zone and broke and went to the rest of that fib fan. So today's trade is actually looking really, really good. As you can see, this was our entry here. We had the 5 minute break. I said we needed to break and not touch this line whatsoever, which we came up, boom, 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 5 minute break. We finally had a candle that was not touching the red line, which is where we took that trade. Bam, stop loss was 10 pips below this swing low marker here. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So now I'm going to talk about where your stop loss would have been, which is right here.
This is where I would be looking for entries. Now, remember, if we take this trade, you've got a stop loss that's 10 pips below this. So your stop loss would be 30,558.
30,558. Now, let me show you why that's important. So 30,558 is if we go here and drop down 10 pips, which is right here, even when price came back, look how safe you were. You didn't get knocked out. You know why? You had 12 pips before it hit you, because that's what the dots do. They show you where your stop loss should be. And then this thing took off. So the trade that we entered today, which would have been entered here or a trend line break. So if you entered on the trend line break, you're currently setting at 232 pips of profit. If you took on the 5 minute candle close, which I did, I missed it. My entry, Lord bless my soul, I missed it by 12 pips on having a perfect entry on that 5 minute candle break of our zone. You are now currently setting at 209 pip profit, no stop loss. The risk on this trade was actually really, really low. So if we look at this, our entry, if you got in on that trend line break, then you were looking at a 90 pip stop loss. If you got in on our 5 minute candle break right there, you were looking at, I would do as 123 pips. Now here's what's cool. If I look at this from what I was willing to risk, so we go right there and we drop it here. So the risk for this trade was $2,473, okay? Now, the profit for that trade currently right now, TP zone up here was $3,000. I didn't close it out at TP. We're sitting at the trend line right now, which is $4,000. So a solid one right there. Obviously, I'll let it go if that's what made the noise, but a solid trade. So if we zoom out and look at the big picture that we have here on this 5 minute, you can see that it hit perfect right there on that fib fan that we had marked up. And look at that. So what is these two red lines right here on the chart, you may ask? Well, let me show you that real quickly. So here's where I explain what we need to enter this trade on the break that I just showed you on my screen. Listen up to this one. That's good.
A 5 minute candle closure is you need a candle to close up here by itself like this with no touch of this red line. Okay, meaning this 5 minute candle did go up here. It's going back down, touch this. Even if it comes back up into this area, we still have a touch on that red line. It'll be a wick. So we need a candle. So this won't be your 5 minute candle, but you need a candle that separates itself from the wick, even if it has like a little bitty, if it has a wick on it that looks something like this. We're just using an arrow for the wick. Like that right there. As long as there's no touching of this wick on that 30,667, then that'll be your trade.
So when we talk about that wick that's setting there and how it needed to be separated, I'm going to go back up to that red zone. Look what we have right here. Notice that this candle nor the wick is touching that red line, which is exactly what I demonstrated and said this is how the trade has to be taken. It has to have a candle that's not touching that red line and click the button. And look, candles came up, bam, 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 5 minute candle close, boom. Didn't touch red line. We know it's a solid trade. We push up, bam, bam, bam. And now, boom, we had TP here. We went up and touched the upper trend line. But I want to show you what these two red lines are right here that we're playing at. So watch this.
bond. So that's always a good thing to kind of be looking at. Nice little gap right there too. On the 30-minute, do that number right there. Bam, bam, and that gap is 200 plus pips away. So sweet. Well, guys,
So there you go. There you have it. The full there's the trade. So again, if you were on Trading Nut, you caught this move. If you were on Trading Nut and followed the rules exactly identical to how I did it, you would have been able to see this happen. You would have seen the trend line at top. You would have seen the first TP zone get hit.
I'm in a mix and I'm handshaking, but most of y'all can't help me. Most of y'all ain't wealthy. Most of y'all just dress like it. I caught the vibe that y'all giving off, and I'm trying to make myself less like it. This chick got a little Porsche body.